Welcome to the Wager Zone podcast, and we are back for another interview, guys. It's going to be Jake Woodley. He fights at LFA 211 this weekend. Very excited. One of the prospects I'm here to watch. Like I did Michael Aswell last time, one of my favorite prospects. Now Jake Woodley is another prospect I'm here to watch. And welcome to the show, Jake Woodley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. So I have about like 10 questions. Let's get right into this. I want to see where your mind's at for your pre-fight. I want to learn a little bit more about you, get my fans to learn more about you, because I feel like a lot of people are kind of sleeping on you at the moment. Nobody's really paying attention as much on the LFA cards, and I do believe you're going to make it to the UFC one day. So I just want to get people's mindsets and get people watching you before you even get there.
All right. Sounds good.
So, so Jake, heading into your third LFA fight, how is your mindset leading into the fight? Like, what is your training act like, and how is your mindset?
I'm trying to go get the finish in this fight. I had a really good training camp. I switched my training camp to Jackson Wink in Albuquerque. I was in California before, bouncing around at a few gyms, but so I changed up my training camp, and I feel really good, and I'm excited to try to get a finish this Friday.
Cool, man. And I saw that you have a really strong wrestling background. You're a Division One All-American. And how has that base actually helped you get into MMA? Like, was your plan to get into MMA originally, or were you just mainly focused on wrestling?
I was back and forth on fighting while I was in college. I wasn't sure, but I decided to fight after college, and it was a good decision, I think. Wrestling helps a lot. Obviously, I can kind of control where the fight goes. If I want to take them down and play the grappling game, I can do that. And if I want to stay on the feet, I can defend takedowns as well. So wrestling definitely gave me a really good base.
Yeah, and then how did that? Because I know in wrestling you have a lot of wrestlers have really high work ethic. So I feel like that work ethic actually helped you translate to MMA really well.
Absolutely, yeah. Work ethic and weight cutting, and yeah, there's a lot of aspects about wrestling that helps in MMA.
Yeah, man. And what's it called? That was leading to my next question. Was you train out of a legendary gym out of Jackson Week now? How has that helped you for this training camp? Like, what is the environment like? The development there at Jackson Week?
It's great. They got a bunch of high level coaches and training partners for me to go with, so it's been a really good change to my training. No disrespect to any of the gyms in California I was training at, they were really good to me too.
Mhm.
Part of the reason is that Albuquerque is a little bit cheaper and it's a one-stop shop. I get all my training done at the one gym. I don't have to go to multiple gyms, so it's a little bit of a simpler life. So
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed my time at Jackson and Wink for this fight camp.
Is there any specific fighters out of Jackson Wink that's helping you with your training partners? Or are you just mainly with the coaches as a moment? Like, is there a certain sparring partner you are actually with at the moment a lot?
I kind of spar with all the guys at the gym, but I mean, there's a bunch of good guys for me to spar with. So there's 170 pounders, 185ers, 205s. I'll go with a couple heavyweights every once in a while. I don't really have a specific training partner. I just kind of go with everyone at the gym, and it's been really beneficial.
Really cool, man. Yeah. What's it called? So, like, let's get into your last fight. So, your last opponent actually gave you your first loss in MMA. So, bouncing back from that, how did you bounce back mentally, physically, and after that loss?
Yeah, that loss was pretty frustrating. I'd like to have that one back if I got the chance. But it was a good learning lesson because I was almost too stuck to my wrestling. After I got the takedown, I just like stayed down on his legs and didn't climb up
Mhm.
the body and ended up getting choked out. So it was a good learning lesson, and I'm looking to fix my mistakes and get a win this weekend.
Yeah, man, I agree. I do believe you're going to get the win this weekend. I believe, like, especially with going to Jackson Week now, I do feel like you're in probably a lot better training camp. Like I said, a legendary training camp, so you probably have some great coaches around you. So I recently watched one of your interviews. I think you said you started wrestling when you were 6 years old. So
Yeah.
after you started wrestling, so with that, what was the moment you actually realized I'm going to go into fighting?
Um, I I thought I wanted to fight when I was like in middle school or so. I started watching the UFC and I kind of wanted to do that. But
Hmm.
when I was a kid, I wanted to be in the NFL. I love football. I played football, but I knew that maybe that wasn't super realistic. But when I started watching the UFC, I saw all these former college wrestlers doing really good. So that's what
Hmm.
kind of sparked the idea around that age.
Yeah, so especially with the athleticism usually translate really well from see a lot of football players translating to MMA. So I
Yeah.
think that probably helps a lot. And I know this weekend you are fighting against David Gladfelter, who has 5 submission victories, but also his 3 losses are came by submission as well. So how do you expect to go into this fight, and how do you plan to go into a fighting camp when a guy is mainly a grappling heavy fighter?
I've been working my striking a lot this fight camp, so I'm looking to go showcase a little bit of striking. But if it goes to the ground, I'm not worried. I'm comfortable there too. So wherever the fight goes, I think I have the advantage, and I'm just gonna wherever I can get the finish is where I want to take the fight.
Okay, is there anything you're actually doing differently in this camp, knowing that you're going into a grappling heavy fighter? Are you focusing more on your striking, getting your striking tooled up?
Yeah, I mean, other than the fight camp change, obviously that was a big change, but nothing else has really changed. I had, similar diet and everything. My weight's good. I'm healthy. I just continue to train hard. I didn't really change too much of my mindset, but I did change the training camp. So,
Hmm. So going to this fight, how do you see this fight playing out? I know you said you want to go for the finish, but like, how do you see the fight actually playing out in your mind when you look at it?
well, I'd love to go get a standing knockout because I think that'd be really good for me trying to get to the UFC.
Hmm.
'Cause they want some exciting fighters, so I don't want to make this fight too boring, but I'm gonna do what I have to do to get the victory. But I'd love to go get a knockout if I could.
Yeah, man. And the next question is, what's something that fans should know about Jake Woodley that you can't really find out in the cage?
Um, I love to go to the beach. I was living in California for a while, and I'm going back to California after this fight for a few weeks to coach some wrestling and see some friends, and I'm gonna catch some rays for sure.
Yeah.
So I that's something I love the beach.
And you just said you coach as well. So were you coaching like kids or kids for wrestling, or were you coaching like adults or?
Yeah, kids, middle school, high school. That's what I haven't been really in Albuquerque coaching very much, but back in California, yeah, I coach wrestling, kids, middle school, high school, and I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
How would you say that helps you in your like fighting camps and your training, knowing that you coach as well, you teach what you've learned? Does that help you actually translate to your training as well sometimes?
For sure, makes me not be a bad athlete, I guess,
Hmm.
because I mean most of the kids are good, but sometimes they act up a little bit, and that might help me, you know, like not act like that in practice.
Yeah. So, as somebody that's already proven themselves on the wrestling mat, has already has a win in LFA. I know you said you want to go in here, you want to get a standing knockout. Say if you do get that standing knockout, or you go in here and get a great finish in this fight, how far along do you think you are from getting that UFC call?
Well, after this fight, I have one more fight on my contract with LFA, so I assume we're gonna finish that out, and then maybe after that, contender series, or
Hmm.
maybe I sign another multi-fight contract with LFA. I don't know, but I definitely like a couple more fights, a little bit more experience, and then I feel
Hmm.
like I'm ready.
Okay, and then I just have like one more question for you. So, what kind of a statement do you look about going into this fight? I know you say you want a standing knockout, but is there like a certain statement that you want to show the fans exactly that don't know about Jake Woodley that going to this fight, say if this is their first time tuning into a Jake Woodley fight, is there a certain statement you want to make to these fans?
Yeah, I just want to be exciting. I want to put on a show because I know that's gonna help me get to the top, and it always helps being an exciting fighter. So I just want to go have a lot of output
Hmm.
and go get a W.
Yeah. So like, and then I just have one more like mess around question.
All
So
right.
besides fighting, I know you said football. Is like, what sports do you tend to watch? Like, say when you're just relaxing, do you watch a lot of MMA yourself, or is it more you like try to tune into like other sports as well?
I watch a good amount of MMA. I'd say that and football are about tied for what I watch the most. I love watching football. I like
Hmm.
watching OU football because I wrestled at OU. So
Hmm.
that's like my college team, and I like watching the Steelers. So because I'm from Pittsburgh, but
Yeah.
so I watch a lot of football for sure.
Now I know you're a Steelers fan. I think the one question I actually have is, how do you feel about the Steelers signing Aaron Rodgers?
I'm pumped. I'm pumped about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried about the whole quarterback situation. Sorry, they're talking over me.
Oh,
But
it's fine.
I was kind of worried about the whole Mason Rudolph and a rookie and stuff. And so I was really happy to see us sign a veteran because then he might be able to teach that Ohio State rookie. I can't remember his name, but we
Mhm.
drafted a quarterback from Ohio State. So
Yeah.
hopefully Aaron Rodgers can kind of teach him how to be a great quarterback. And hopefully this year Aaron Rodgers does well. And I think he's going to. So yeah.
When you were watching, I know you said you watched a lot of football. So when you're watching the NFL draft, were you one of those Steelers fans that were sitting there like, please draft Shador Sanders? And when they passed on Shador Sanders like two or three times, were you like, what are you guys doing? I saw a lot of Steelers fans are like, just draft Shador Sanders. Were you kind of on that same boat?
Yeah, a little bit. But the Aaron Rodgers rumor had been going around for a while, and I really wanted that just because you never know how a rookie quarterback's going to end up. But we
Mhm.
know Aaron Rodgers is good, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, should he would have been a good pick too.
Well, man, that was it for my questions I have for you guys today. I just want to say good luck at UFC 211. I'll be rooting for you a lot. Like I said, I think you're gonna go in there and get this finish, and hopefully you come in there and get two finishes in a row and end up in that contender series.
All right, thank you for
So,
having me.
thank you for coming to the interview, guy. What's it called, Jake? I really appreciate it. I honestly didn't think you would respond and actually get on the interview, so I'm actually very excited that you actually came onto the interview. And like I said, I'm rooting for you. And all right, man, I'll let you go. Have a good flight, and I'll see you when I'm watching UFC. I mean LFA 211.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.